This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, looks like all the council and everybody's here. I'd like to call this workshop meeting to order. Our guest had an emergency, his wife had a flat tire and he had to take care of her, so he won't be here. We don't have anybody. You already said it, right, Kevin?
Listen, Gary, teach your wife how to change a tire.
No, that's what my wife does when she calls AAA, she don't call me.
That's right.
And we don't have any guests signed up, so moving right along. Guess you're good. No. Police department update. What you got, Kevin?
The new guy's doing well, he's still in FTO, the new car's in, it's getting decal and the lights and everything hooked up. And I wasn't working today, but supposedly we ran out of oil at the house, so it's cold down there.
Ouch.
So, I don't know how that happened, so hopefully they'll deliver tomorrow. But everything else is going
They
well.
have them here too.
Yeah,
They ran out here.
Last week.
They was there because for some reason, there was a toilet in the basement, and when they ran out of heat, they went down and checked that, and apparently the water backed up in a toilet that's in the basement that we don't ever use. I thought the thing was cut off. So they was there cleaning that mess up, and supposedly they took that old toilet out and tapped it, but I mean, that's just.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's always something. It's always something, but anyway, other than that, everything's going well. I think we did a good job on Saturday, that's the very past, what little bit it was. And we made adjustments to have everybody around, so I think everything went well.
What time did it wrap up?
Like 20 minutes after it started.
Okay.
There was like 7 people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were on the corner in front of the inn, they were on the side of Dan. They had huge signs.
They did one corner to the next, I don't even think
I didn't even read this, it was something about old white men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't show all white men here.
And one of them said no soup for old white men.
No soup for you.
So that would be a sign of.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't, I'll have the count on that trailer, Howard, and I'm gonna have the next meeting, and you have to download it, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, from Della Lane.
Yeah.
You'll have one on there going 75, that was my wife, I'm sorry.
Well, you know, she is making things bad for everybody. Everything else is going well.
Good, good. Anybody have any questions
Back
for
out
Kevin?
of FTO.
The 4th March.
Soon.
But, yeah, it's soon, but he will not be by himself for a while.
Okay.
I always have somebody work with
He's
him.
brand new.
Yeah,
Never
yeah, yeah, so, I mean, it's mandatory to get, I think it's 240 hours by the Maryland Police Training Commission. That's all he's mandated to do, but he will not be by himself at any time for a while. I mean, there'll always be somebody working with him. He'll handle all the calls, the other guy will just stick around, make sure he does it right. And until he's more comfortable, and we're comfortable with him, so.
Is he comfortable knowing where the different streets are?
He's learning the street. I mean, it's, so yeah, he's been riding with me. He's still nervous. I mean, he'll call out one thing. We're not even close to that. What are you talking about? Ah! But I mean, he's learning again. It's a new experience for him. I think he'll be fine. I mean, he talks to people decent. The traffic stuff that we've had and a few calls that we've had with him, even a few out in the county. I mean, he knows what to say and how to say it and how to approach people. So I think we'll be fine there. He just has to learn the difference in laws, what we can and can't do that he did do in DC in the public housing places. And that's where he come from. So, yeah, I think he'll be fine.
And we don't shoot and ask questions later.
No.
You ask the questions before you
Right.
shoot.
Has anybody spent any more time on, oh, for God's sake, the alley behind my church?
Not that we
Readers, thank
we
you.
did a couple of times. Wes has been back in there a little bit. I haven't the past 2 weeks, I know 3 weeks. Are they still going up the wrong way?
I was down there, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. I had to take my mother-in-law and I was waiting to meet a realtor at my church. And we saw 2 cars come up Reader's Alley from the parking lot, well, from this parking lot, up Reader's Alley. One of them came up and turned down the other alley. The other one came all the way up and turned on Young Avenue. And I don't know how many people that I saw, and of course, my car's just playing cards just sitting there, but nobody stops. They come down Cemetery, just
Yeah,
going right
I mean,
through.
we can sit there,
I
I
know.
told you what I said, and they all stop, but they can see us sitting here.
Right.
Waiting behind.
Yeah. Can you all plant some bushes so we got?
Sure.
I don't know, I'm telling you what, they're nuts.
Everybody's in a big hurry getting nowhere.
I know.
And you could back way up to his church.
That's what I
That
do
back
see,
door,
well,
back way.
yeah, like, but we back up along Weir's Alley to get them coming up or even going by us.
You can park up at the garage, up past, where the door is to the kitchen.
Yeah.
You can go past that and you can back up towards the garage. It sits there. It's a single car garage door. You can back all the way up. You'll see it if you go into the parking lot. You can sit way back there. They never see you, especially the ones that are coming down Cemetery Lane and just rolling through.
Yeah. All
So
right.
it's just, they're crazy. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Next thing on the agenda is introduction of ordinance 2023-01, parades and special events. I talked to Ann a couple months ago, and she worked very hard on this, because I wanted to have this ordinance in effect, just in case we had what we had Saturday. Also, too, plus, so we don't have any more incidents come with primaries and election year, like we did back in 2020, when those pickup trucks interfered with a funeral, and you had a bunch of pickup trucks in front, and a funeral in the middle, and the pickup trucks in behind, squealing their wheels, honking their horns and all that. That was very, very disrespectful to the family and the people that worked at the funeral home. Talking to, shoot, I forgot the lady's name. She lives right up here next to Skip on Main Street. She was the funeral director that day.
Oh, Kelly.
Kelly, yeah. So it was very embarrassing going through downtown. We're trying to be serious and people are, hey, Kelly, hi, Dick, how are you, Dick? Dick Rose in the front seat of the hearse going to the cemetery. So, Ann did an excellent job. I hope you've had a chance to read it. I'd like to present it tonight, introduce it, and we will vote on it, and will be advertised for the next 2 weeks, so we can have a public hearing at our next mayor and council meeting at 6:30.
Well, I have a whole problem with this. It doesn't, what, the two events you just described, this ordinance wouldn't do anything for.
Yes, we will.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Nope, not a soul. Wouldn't do
According
anything
to,
for it.
according to our attorney, it would.
No, people are allowed to protest, it's on public thing, you don't have to have a permit, it's a First Amendment law. And, then it would also affect in the food trucks that goes to Fletcher's Grove. And, like when they have the crab truck out at Wise and $150, I just think this is a punishment.
But it says in there that the town manager and staff has the right to waive any of them.
But once you start waiting for one, then when you don't wait for the others, that's when you get yourself into a
Well, Mary
lawsuit.
Lane, what do you suggest then? How do we stop these damn pickup trucks?
You
She's not
can't, they're not a
allowed-
parade, they're not a parade,
But
when
they're
they just
kind
go
of-
through town.
Do you know that
They're
last,
just driving.
do you know that, no, they're not.
Yes,
They had a guy from the fire department down here to square that one Saturday afternoon, deliberately stop traffic both ways to have them drive through town to show off, blowing their horns and squealing their tires and smoking. And it was more than a
So
handful
who
of
are you
trucks.
going to find?
The people that are doing it,
But that's a police officer's job.
but it's not.
Yeah, that
If
would
they
be
don't have
every
any-
person which you can enforce,
They
you're not.
don't have anything to stand on. Forget it.
Well, the
Just forget
smoking
it.
thing, you can. We
Just forget it.
Yeah, the smoking is a nuisance and you can already write a ticket for that.
This way they would got charged for $500 fine municipal infraction. Sorry I even brought it up. Next thing, wastewater treatment plant, the watering facility, construction bid and results.
So we got 5 bids, or 3 bids, sorry.
I'll send all the complaints to you next time.
That's fine.
Nothing. It just needs to stop.
I am.
Okay. So we got 3 bids from, three firms in Pennsylvania, for the dewatering press facility. They are, listed here, there's a synopsis here. The low bid, by a little over $100,000 was, HRI. They come heavily recommended. Actually, this is the same firm that did the construction work for the new tank, the new reservoir over in Keysville. Sorry, I'm confusing Keysville and Middletown tonight.
Close.
Over in Middletown. We're here to finalize this process and get back with the engineer to begin procurement and pre-construction meetings and hopefully begin construction very soon.
And Paul, it's fair to say, for the benefit of the council, this did pass the BMU.
Yeah, that's
right?
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that,
Who
yes.
did they recommend? HRI?
HRI,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of what I took from
So, yeah, the BMUC, asked to bring it up to us so that we could, move this project forward with HRI.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept HRI's bid?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries.
And Mr. Mayor, just a question, not related to the winner. The 2 that weren't selected, did they get notified for all?
Oh,
of them? I didn't know if they did that.
We send them a gift certificate.
Just didn't know what the process was.
Just kidding.
Can I just make a suggestion, just go back for just a second, if I can have everybody's attention. Relevant to this ordinance that we're talking about, the parade and such, I'd like to make a suggestion that it was introduced, and we go back and we all read it and take a look at it and discuss it another time, not just to forget about it. I think that it has merit, not all parts, but there's merit to it as far as ability to control a protest. We can prevent something, make people plan in advance. And I agree with Mary Lee, this is not gonna stop people driving on a road legally. That would be a traffic violation, but there's merit to it. I've looked at it, there's merit to it, but it needs to be addressed and discussed. Everyone have an opinion. So rather than not discuss it, if someone had a lot of work on this, let's
Yeah,
all
can we have
read
the
it and
attorney to come
discuss
in
it.
and answer questions that maybe Mary Lee has or somebody when you discuss that? I mean, she would know, she wrote the thing, she would know.
There's a reason.
So it's actually the town of Cumberland's.
Oh, it is?
I mean, I agree with
She'd
everything.
be able
you
to
said.
answer legal questions.
Yeah, I feel it's a very cumbersome permit process, but like Ray said, maybe it could be toned down a little bit. I'm not saying that I agree with 100% of it either, but this is a workshop and maybe we should discuss it and not just throw it out the door.
So we.
I didn't know we had a huge.
We don't have to do it tonight. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
September's a little hot there, but let's read it.
See where I can come down next workshop.
Well, why do we need to pay the attorney to come down to draft something? Why do you want to charge a food truck $150 to park?
We can discuss this. I'm not saying
But
do
I mean,
that. So
there's
let's
beginning,
not throw it
that's
out.
why I feel like that there's unintended consequences in here that I just do not get.
Yeah, it needs to be really fine tuned, but that's fine. We can do that.
People driving in a protest, they're gonna fight you in court that they're not a parade. And
I agree with that. So there's a lot of things to it that we could make big use, but just let's not blow it off. Let's look at it.
So maybe we can go back at the next workshop. We haven't had this forever.
Yes.
And it's not like it's gonna be something that needs to happen in 30 days.
Yes.
So we can draw lines through it, we can make notes and we can bring it back and have another conversation, but I think.
Things I like and don't like about it. It needs to be discussed another time. There's merit to it for certain areas, and I think we should discuss it another time. I don't think Mary Lee intended to blow it off completely. I think Mary Lee intended to just have a few points, and I think we should follow through on all these points and discuss it later. So I'd like to make a motion to bring it back next workshop meeting after we all have a chance to read it and digest it. Hopefully get a guest in here to discuss it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, but I don't think we need to have the attorney here yet.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, okay, well, discuss it again.
I think, if I can step in just real quick, I think if you guys wanted to just decide what you like and don't like about it, we literally
That's
just
fine.
stole it from Cumberland, and you could probably just add or subtract whatever you want.
Well, I'm willing to do that, just said, Howard mentioned maybe get somebody else if you have any questions for him. I don't need that personally, I can go through it, but I'd like to have some more time to digest it, and Mary lost some good points, I think we all have good points on it.
Well, you know,
We're together on it.
what do you do when the kids come back and win a state championship? The kids follow the bus. Are you gonna find all the parents when they go through and blow the horn?
Good point.
If you don't find them, you can't find the people that went through and did the other. You know, it's just, to me,
They
I
don't-
wish they didn't do that either.
They don't
That's
go
a
through
reflection
red
bad
lights.
on them, but,
When the
you know, you can't
sports,
teach people
when the
manners.
sports events and all, when they win something, they come back blowing their horns and all, they do obey the traffic laws and the speed limit, and they do not run red lights, and they don't have anybody stopping down there, stopping traffic to let them go through.
So maybe have something that says, you know, if you are, you know, parading through or something like that, you know, it's a violation, which it is anyway, to stop traffic unjustly, you know.
If something goes beyond, police officers are gonna, stop, they're gonna enforce traffic laws. And this thing I need to do with one of our police officers, get somebody from one of the red light. But giving us notice in advance, preparing, let us know what's going on, and then being able to go back later, like if it's spontaneous, even the Black Lives Matter rally, we had no information on, no, force people to at least give us some recourse and make sure we know it's coming.
I think that's the
You
main.
can ask if they're using public facilities, there's a way to do
But
that.
they're not using.
You shape the park.
I think that's the
They're
main.
using the part that they.
I think that's the main part of this too, the ways that we want advance notice. You know, if we're gonna need increased, police presence, we need to know that. So, and then the people who are hosting these events or organizing these events should have to pay for that increased police presence.
Well, just like Saturday, see, we thought it was changed to Sunday,
Right.
and then Emily calls me and she says, hey, that porter just now showed up with the sign. So then I called everybody else and we came in case there was a problem.
Yeah, I read Saturday.
But-
Well, it originally started Saturday, then he told everybody it was gonna be Sunday, and then he heard Antifa was gonna be there, and then he showed up on Saturday.
The Constitution's gonna win, and it should. I absolutely
I
agree.
mean, you
Constitution's
can't make
gonna
somebody
win.
give you 30 days notice to protest a current event. That's just kind of happened.
Okay, well, we can
Well,
do that.
an organized group, something, over 50 people, you certainly.
You can't
expect some-
control how many people are gonna show up,
No,
but
you can't
you
always.
can
but
control
try.
how many showed up for the George Floyd protest. I mean,
Okay,
it's just a horrible tragedy that happens because of current events. And you
But they had it in Shaker
can't require
Park,
a
and
permit.
that's our park, and they didn't give us any notice. And we have jurisdiction in that park, and we can tell the First Amendment or not, we can, if that is our property, and they have an organized rally, we have the right to expect them to give us notice and pay a permit for that. Otherwise, they can do it right in the middle of state road, but state police can't. And that's all I'm saying. Let's look at it again, because we need to try at least to do something about it.
we have a motion and a second on the floor to table this, and everybody read over it, make the notes and all on it, and we'll discuss it at our next workshop, which is
April.
April. Well, that's right, we don't have one in March because of MML.
That's fine.
That's in Sharpsburg this next month. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose,
Opposed.
abstain, motion carries. 4-2. Good. Commercial utility building audit and BMUC recommendation.
We'll come back to this later. So we just finished, the commercial billing audit, and Yvette put this spreadsheet together for you guys. By, using average usage, and also, potential, capacity demand, so a combination of the two, we identified 34 new EDUs. and which equates to an increased quarterly revenue of $2,100. You can see the synopsis from our engineer here too, we provided. And working with, and by the way, the BMUC has reviewed this and recommended it to the mayor and council with a start date of the new fiscal year for Q1. And so you also have here the example letters of what would go out to each of the commercial customers. Thank you, Eric. And so, you know, this is, as we all talked about, this is the next step to the residential audit we did. And this process we'll probably do once a year from now on, just to make sure that we stay on top of this. We got the process from our engineer, and we can now stay on top of this so that it doesn't become a huge issue. So
again, Vol, good job, 30 couple EDUs, but 20 customers, if I recall, right?
correct, yeah. Yeah, all the highlighted customers.
We talked about
Just
this,
highlighted ones.
Mhm.
yeah, we talked about this in the BMUC at lunch.
So I guess the idea was that if it was preferred, we could wait until March, is that right? The March meeting? Or that we could just do it tonight, approve tonight, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's always better if it's introduced and people have a chance to digest it. I know people don't like to read something on Friday and Saturday and then make a decision on it on Monday again. So if we want to wait until the mayor and council meeting, that's fine.
Okay. I would ask in the meantime, though, that if you do have questions, please make them available ASAP, so I have a chance to answer them, so that we don't have the similar bottleneck situation at the March meeting.
Right. I mean, it's straightforward. It's from the engineer. They're the ones that did the evaluation. I think what they came up with and what the BMUC discussed is fair. It's just a matter of us getting our heads wrapped around this building system and building it correctly for a change, and not just, you know, throwing a dart at the board. That's what we've done for so many years. We have to stop doing that. We have to do this the right
There's
way.
3 businesses there, they're only using 2 EDUs. Should be using.
They should get 3, yeah.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
How much was the study? How much did Tri-Edge charge us for the study?
I think it was 2,000, no, I think it was under 1,000. It was 1,500, 1,500, I think.
So again, just because I'm straight, just so I'm straight.
Yeah.
We're discussing implementing this July 1 for the bills, except at the end of September. So everybody gets line notice.
Correct.
Now, it says cut above should be increased to 3. Now, does the tattoo people know since they moved across that this is in the works?
No, nobody has been notified of this yet.
Yeah, that's
But
like,
now, would we reaccept that because the tattoo?
yeah, that's like fetch.
Cut above.
Well, no, so
Cut above is gone, that business is.
So keep in mind, though, that sometimes the reason for these changes is because we're talking about a mixed-use service address. Cut Above has apartments up
Right,
top,
the apartments.
so each of those are EDUs as well.
Right.
So if you want to give a deadline for comments back to you on any specific questions.
No, just before the meeting, I mean, that's all. Just so I can, you can have an educated conversation about your concerns.
Can we put this on the agenda for the mayor and council meeting? Everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay, Economic Development Commission.
Oh, can I go back for 1 second? I'm sorry. I wanted to make a correction to the billing letters. In the first paragraph, Kim, where it says the mayor, council, and staff. Where is it? the mayor, council, and staff work hard to ensure the utility charges. Could you change that to diligently? In the first paragraph.
First paragraph.
Yeah, these are just draft letters that,
But I mean, if nobody changes this, it's not gonna get changed.
Correct.
Is what I'm saying. And then the last two sentences, the property we identified,
yes,
in the last sentence, can you change that to the charge based on this audit for EDUs are itemized below?
okay, hold on a second.
Ready?
Yes,
The charge,
so you still want the property we identified is listed below, along with the numbers of EDUs
yeah,
charged
that
quarterly.
first sentence is okay, I'm talking about the second sentence.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Charge based on this audit for EDUs are itemized below. Because we may do future audits for one thing. This isn't the end all for this audit.
I see what you mean. I gotcha.
And if we don't make that correction now, then it's not gonna get changed on these letters, so. And that'll be there for everybody to see in
Yep.
that meeting too, please.
Yes.
Sorry, Paul.
So, Marilyn, by the way, Triad Engineering is one of our consultants.
Gotcha. I just was curious how much it costs for them to come over and do all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. Economic Development Commission facade matching grant program and draft application.
So when we became a sustainable community, when we received that designation, our grant writer, Catherine, applied for a facade grant. So the town was recently awarded by the Department of Housing a $30,000 facade grant, which the town can administer and provide 50% cost share grants to local businesses and facades in the downtown area. So we're gonna begin advertising that here ASAP and begin accepting applications on May 1st. With the idea that we can give people enough time to, figure out exactly what they want to have done and get estimates and that sort of thing. So it's gonna go pretty quickly. Usually it's about $6,000 a grant around. So, but as we said, we're trying to, it's going, in other words, it's first come, first served. It's going to be a bit of an S show. So we want to just make sure that we get plenty of advertising. Everybody's going to know about it well in advance. So.
And it's matching funds, so
Yes.
they'll match, it's $6,000, you got to put up 3,000, and get 3,000. And it's first come, first served. And there's preference given to, it's all the exterior buildings, so I can't get the trailer towed away on King Road as I'd like to. But it's, exterior only and preference given to front facing address side. So there's a lot of places here that could use it.
Let's just hope they're the ones that apply for it.
Yeah, you have to be the one to apply.
Oh, I mean, the EDC could, make sure they send them a letter, make sure they know.
Yeah, they're pushing it for the businesses. They're out.
But there's residentials that really need help,
I
and that's
agree.
who I'm hoping.
Oh, so a residential?
Yeah, it's residential,
Oh,
too.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
anybody.
There's quite a few. Okay.
Yeah, this program will be eligible to both residential and commercial property.
One house right here on Main Street,
Mhm.
on the spot across from us. I mean, it's just, I don't know how that house.
Are we gonna put this out like with the?
It's got a historical
I know.
designation, but I mean, how's that allowed that there's broken windows
I
and?
know.
I thought it was supposed to go out with the next water bill, is that right? Or when does the next water bill go out?
March,
March. Yeah. So we can send it out with that.
the end of March.
Begin advertising on the website and on the EDC website.
Yeah, we put on the website. If you got somebody who you want to use it, knock on their door and tell them about it.
This is one of those things too, now that we have our sustainable communities designation, we're gonna be getting the same grant every single year. So if they don't get it this year,
So my only concern, of course, would be a shame if, you know, places don't really need to have it upgraded, places that really need it, never knew about it.
Well, who's gonna go over the
2,000
grant, who's gonna go over the applications and pick?
So again, it's first come, first served, as long as it's eligible. The two people reviewing the grant applications will be Catherine from MRDC and Riley will review for planning and zoning
Okay.
purposes.
Where it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to make I mean, I'm fine with this. Do y'all want to make a motion to move this? I mean, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and move the facade matching grant program forward.
Second. Have a motion and a second to move forward on the facade matching grant program. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carried.
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Somebody in there, right?
Right.
So the next item on the agenda, we had a request from a Boy Scout called Kim, requesting that since we close up their park bathrooms in the wintertime, that we put a portage on in Schaefer Park for the winter months. So Paul and I was talking, I contacted the city of Hagerstown, but Scott never returned my call. Contacted Williamsport, and they do the same thing that we do. They lock up their bathrooms. Now, the month of November and December, they do put 2 sandy pots in the park, and that's for the people that put the Christmas decorations up to use. And then as soon as they're finished and they think the decoration's down, the sandy pots go. But that's the only time they put them up, is for that. But they close theirs up just like we do, winterize them and everything, so the pipes don't bust and have any problems.
And Middletown as well, Howard.
Do they?
I went by through there the other day to look, and they have a sign right on there, open April 1st.
That's when Williamsport's open, April 1st too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they close the last week in October. And open the
Who's
first
gonna,
week.
who's gonna let the, scout that, is not gonna get a merit badge this year?
Oh, is that what he's trying to get there, badge?
Yeah.
Well, I think he just has, I think he or she just had to initiate the process and try and affect the change.
Maybe we can just send him a letter, because then you'll have proof that
Yeah,
he didn't
they
just
did.
do that.
But, to me, I thought it was fine because of the fact that, when was it, Thursday, when we had almost 80-degree weather? You ride down by the park and the whole park was full.
It was.
And there was a lot of hikers and that kind of stuff. I thought, why not go ahead and do that till at least April, when we open things back up? Because I was gonna bring up, maybe we can, come up with some kind of funds next year and heat trace and get one of the bathrooms working year round down there. So I was just saying, why can't we do it? Why can't we put a sandy pot down there, handicap accessible sandy pot down there? At least till we open up everything, then we can open up discussion for, next year about heat trace.
Well, and I was saying too, to the mayor, there literally is no place to go to the bathroom.
It's not unless you use a tree.
I mean, like, we don't even have a McDonald's that you can run into and pee.
Got AC&T.
That's way out on the other end of town, you can get it in your pants.
Alex is.
Alex won't let
Alex
you use
joined
there.
for customers only.
Well, I certainly have no problem with what's being suggested, but I wanted to know what the cost was.
Right.
Yeah, the
Because
mention of the
at the
cost.
racetrack, I know they tripled the charge for the sand
Wow.
pots at the racetrack.
And the other concern I'd have is you'd have to secure it somewhere.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
gonna get vandalized.
Oh, but
Exactly.
people sleep in
Not
it.
doing
It's gonna have to, it's gonna have to. be
No,
outside.
You wouldn't be
She
heating
didn't,
it.
you didn't get what I said.
Oh, you mean
No,
the back?
no,
Oh, you keep the water in all?
That's on the water pipe, that's not on the bathroom, that's just to keep the water from freezing in the lines, it's not heating the bathroom.
This is sandy pots, but you still would have to lock them up at dusk, or you would have homeless sleeping in there.
Well, yes, I mean, how's that work? I mean, I don't know, I get it, I know it's an inconvenience.
We've had.
Can you get a hold of Dave Conway for AC&T? Talk to him and mention my name. Maybe you can get a sandy pot through AC&T at a discount.
We've had an exceptionally great winter.
Oh, it's been crazy.
It has, but how often do we have them like this?
Dave is vice president at AT&T. So maybe you can,
And
maybe
then
swing it.
find out calls and we'll put it on the agenda for.
The cost and like to, what is it, they come and dump it every?
Well, I was gonna say.
Well, they can't
They
just,
suck it out.
yeah, they pump it out.
So that would cost too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I think the long-term solution is to have a cold weather bathroom, maybe just one or two.
Right.
Mhm.
I
Well,
think,
we only got two in park anyhow.
I think the
We
one
have
on
3
Park-
total.
I think on Park Drive at the entrance where we do the tree, if we wanna look at getting that winterized so that it can be left open, would be the way to go.
Well, and with the garden going in that scout area,
But
I
one
mean,
of the,
that would be a good
Oh,
area
that would be a
maybe.
good area.
one of
too.
the things was talked about was
That's the
keeping
newest
the
hall
community
back
center
there.
open. I said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, I thought maybe we could come up with a solution, like, come up with the sufficient funds and maybe, on the next fiscal year. And maybe, put a heater in one of the bathrooms and heat traces.
So the first thing that comes to my mind is we just, and it's still being considered, our last community parks and playgrounds application was to renovate one of the bathrooms. I wonder if we could just roll this in.
That would be awesome.
So,
And my recommendation was the one down at, by the Boy Scout building.
That's what I would recommend too.
and that's the one I think we're renovating. So,
No, we did one.
It'd be nice to get funds to do that.
yeah, if we could just roll that in, that might work out really well.
We'll still go ahead and get that price.
So is that a Catherine Grattan job? She checking the, getting us a,
No, she doesn't do community parks and playgrounds.
That's a whole,
That's my man.
Oh.
I still read most of our grants. That's okay.
So.
You think you can do that?
Recommendation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not something we're gonna get any money for, but we're gonna get a cost efficiency there, since we've already got a contractor in there doing a major renovation. So, I'm just saying that it's worth exploring as an idea, especially since we're not gonna have that funding until the new fiscal year anyway.
So Ricky recommends getting these prices, Ken will do it, and that'll include the periodic service as well.
right.
And it's only till we open it up. We opened the park back up. It's,
So we opened the park on April 1st.
right,
So would you want a toilet from now until then? Is that what you're
that would
thinking
be
too?
nice, because the reason why I said that I would try and push for it was because the Boy Scout, he's homeschooled. And there was a lot of homeschool kids that get down there.
My
during the
grandkids
day.
do.
And his mother has some kind of spinal injury, and she can't hardly sit down. So,
Right.
as a matter of fact, through all our meetings, she stood right over there in that corner. And,
So you're gonna wanna make sure it's handicap accessible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And a monthly price is going to be cheaper than an ad hoc. Right.
right.
Yeah.
And if we can't get it, we can't get it. But, I thought.
Well, like, I know that we get a lot of complaints when we close the restrooms and how late we open them from sports teams.
Yeah.
Because, we do keep the restrooms open now until the end of October. But there's still some teams that practice into November,
Particularly.
And then also they start practicing in March. The beginning of March is when lacrosse starts. So-
Well, they're already down by the police station.
Mhm.
So that area would be convenient to get to the Boy Scout area too. If that's what.
So,
So Ken will have his prices for us. Get the ball rolling.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Recommendation to update employees' wage chart, employees' personnel policy.
Okay, so we talked about this at the personnel committee meeting last Thursday. If y'all recall, the last wage tables we were using 2018 Department of Labor statistics New statistics just became available, so I upgraded our wage chart. The personnel committee thought it'd be a good idea to bring them here to the council meeting. Again, I apologize for my poor memory. I don't know if we were supposed to vote on this night or if we were just supposed to.
No, we recommended that you bring it to the workshop so that everybody can have a chance to start reviewing it and we just address it at the next council meeting.
Okay.
And Kim did make the highlights in here. We're on page 2, Kim.
Yes.
Where the proposed hourly and proposed annual changes are, they're highlighted there in some shade, as I can see what it is.
Yeah.
I'm partially color, I'm sorry, I'm partially
Right
colorblind. so-
here.
They're in purple, they're regular colors.
Well, that's okay. And the other thing I'm looking at right now too, there's nothing here for the police
Yeah, those
department.
That's the old message.
Yeah.
Okay. I wondered what
That's what I
that
was
was.
trying to
So,
Out of sight, out of mind.
well, no, so if my memory serves me correct, we had the police department set their own wage
Yes.
charts.
Yes.
But it should be included in the manual,
It is,
okay?
it is, but there wouldn't be any change to it
There's
unless,
not gonna be a change to theirs, they're not asking for a change?
They requested to have their own system. So,
their system is based off of, I guess, whatever.
I forget how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah, and didn't they have a different advancement kind of?
Should we have a copy of theirs in our manual?
It is in the manual. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're like, we have the young officer in field training, but it's a different promotion to set up for them and responsibilities and such. So that's why it's different. And nobody gets a raise, and this is just a chart.
I mean, of course,
Yeah,
if
this is
the,
not
if the
commission.
police
Oh, yeah,
department,
this is-
yeah, I mean, if the police department wants, would like to look at their hourly rates also, I mean, that's no problem to include that.
Yeah.
How about including it on the sheet for mayor and council meeting?
We'll have a reference to
What they
the police
are?
department.
Yeah, what the police department.
Yeah.
Well, y'all gotta get the police department to work on that. That's not.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, she's
That's
just
not a
gonna
town hall.
ask them for it. She's not gonna do it, she's just gonna ask them.
You already have a copy of it, don't you?
Yeah, it's in the personnel manual.
And they're not changing it.
If Kevin doesn't change it, then at least put the opening with.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay.
So we'll put that on the agenda for March.
Did the personnel committee have any discussions about it?
I thought it was magnificent.
Well, yeah, we talked about it at our last meeting, and we just agreed that, it hasn't been updated in a while, and that we should show the current wage earnings for our areas, and we should introduce it and see how we move it forward. And again, these are just recommendations, we're not handing out raises.
And it's not recommendations, it's a proposal, but yes, nobody's getting any increased hourly pay because of this.
Right.
This is,
For cost of living adjustments and change the economy.
So is the thought that this would be updated annually from now on?
it's mostly to do with the census and how often we have new Department of Labor data. That's all.
Okay. Well, as I look down through here, I'm sure there are probably town employees that are making over the cap that's noted on here, and I thought that was perhaps a problem.
Who would that be?
Well, I'm not picking on you, but you're the only one that I've set in on.
Uh-huh.
And if the current wage chart for a town manager goes to 73, you're making over that.
So you're looking at, that's what's on the.
That's the current.
Yeah, that's the current.
I thought current and current.
No, that's
Current
current 17. Well, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's-
wage chart.
Yeah.
So, but you see what I'm saying?
So we are.
I get it,
in
I
other
get
words-
what you're saying now.
In other words,
That's why we're
Alex
doing
points.
it proposed.
Under proposed
Yeah,
wage.
the proposals here were.
No, that's not what he's actually saying. I
Yeah.
know what he's saying.
Current is current. That's what he's saying.
Don't worry about it, I know where you're
I
going.
got it, I got that.
I know what you mean now.
I got it.
And then the second
It's okay.
thing, I think this is just a typo over here on the Department of Water and Wastewater. Whose numbers are the same for operator 1 and 2, and that's not really correct.
Yeah, so, operator one
It
and
is.
two, so these are just, what we would potentially hire on one of these operators and what they would kind of max out at. And in order to use Department of Labor data, they don't break it down as specifically as, okay, an operator one makes this, an operator two makes this. These are all the definitions. They break it out into basic job descriptions. And for water and wastewater, for a position like wastewater operator one and wastewater operator two, they just have the water and wastewater treatment plant and system operators. And so they don't have a difference between the two. So we made operator one and two the same hourly pay. They're not going to earn the same hourly pay, but we would bring them on in that, probably in that window. That would be what we would consider.
I just thought, looking at the picture, where current was 15 to 17, and over here it ends up the same. I didn't know if that was intentional or reshuffling things. But anyway, you get my point.
I do. And I think, the knee jerk is to be kind of fiscally conservative on this stuff, which I understand. But, we do want to stay with the times. But turnover is crazy, If we need to make sure that we are offering at least market competitive rates to bring people on, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And retain them.
Exactly. So, if in other words, if somebody went into right now, we don't have minimum wage as, minimum wage isn't captured in our salary chart for the one we have now in our employee manual. So $13.25 is minimum wage now in Maryland, so.
Well, so how about your thing? So you might put these numbers a little, or someone's a grade 4, you might really, there's a bill on them have to be low ball.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you might put,
Yes.
Okay, so everybody agreeing that, sit down and look at it and put it on the agenda?
Yeah.
And Kim will give us an update, police department included. Okay, we received a letter from, Boonesborough High School, We the People. They're going a 5-day trip this year, to, Leesburg, Virginia for the national championship. It's gonna cost them approximately $35,000 for, the 5 days for all the students. They are looking for any kind of donation that we can give them. And how much have we used so far this year, Kim?
We have $700 left.
Do we want to give them a donation?
I'll make a motion, we give them 100.
Okay.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
do we have any idea how close they might be to their target? I guess we have no idea.
No, because the letters just went out last week.
Yeah, and we don't play favoritism. $100 is our cap area.
Yeah.
They'll be thankful for that.
I know.
It's generally beneficial.
And these kids normally, they've won the national championship.
I mean, I'd like to give them more, but I mean, it's not gonna be fair if we do that, so.
SAL gave them
What's that?
5. SAL gave them 5.
Oh, good.
I'll give them 500 every year they request.
That's nice.
That's good.
Okay, hearing no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. I have one other item that was given to me this morning. Unit 10 has asked permission to hold their Memorial Day parade on May the 28th, as they always have in the past. Memorial ceremony will be at 1 o'clock in front of Town Hall, which will last approximately 1:30. Parade starts at 2 o'clock and proceed through North Main to South Main Street, and it will end at Reader's Alley.
What's the date again?
May the 28th,
28th, okay.
Sunday,
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend, Sunday. Yes. I give permission.
I'll
They have
make
to
a
have a
motion.
motion.
Yeah.
for State Highway will give them.
I'll make a motion that we, allow Unit 10 to have their annual Memorial Day celebration.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
Who's that? You?
We have a motion.
Tired lady from Boonesboro.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Terry,
Abstained?
you want to?
I made the motion.
No, I made the
No, you
motion,
made
you
the
seconded
motion.
it.
Oh,
No, I thought Mary Lee seconded.
oh my God, you're the motion.
I don't think it's a problem.
I don't see it, there's no conflict there, I mean, you're.
Because you're a member of the general, you don't feel
It's
it's a
up to you.
problem.
It's up to you if you want to abstain.
I'll say.
Okay.
One abstention. She's
Yeah,
a member.
she's a member.
Well, spelled on, aren't it?
No, you're a member of the SAL.
We're at the,
Your son's now.
I'm the auxiliary.
Oh, okay.
And you're regular Legion, Ricky's, SAL, Tony's SAL, I'm SAL.
Thick as thieves.
Town planner report. Oh, I'm sorry, does anybody else have anything?
I have two comments. Just while we're thinking, if the weather's nice, do we want to consider opening one of the bathrooms earlier?
Absolutely not.
Who said?
I wouldn't do that right yet.
Okay.
You just don't know when.
I mean, not now, but I'm thinking a week earlier, or 2 weeks earlier, you know, what I mean, when it's gonna be nice weather and there's no chance of freezing.
It's a toss of the dice, I mean.
Well, I know, but that's what I mean, if it's gonna be nice out, there's nothing set in stone, you gotta wait
Right.
for one.
Right.
You know,
He did, 6 more weeks in winter.
Yeah.
And it's been warm ever since.
And then
Saturday is cooler.
the public safety, committee had moved their meeting up a week because the sheriff's gonna be away. We have an auction, so I may be done in time, but I seriously doubt it. It's March the 9th, so I didn't know whether someone could fill in for the public safety.
I can do it.
Okay.
It probably won't make you take minutes, I take minutes. I mean, if not, it's no big deal.
Just turn the recorder on.
Is that official, or you gonna let me know if you need me?
I'm gonna say it's 90% sure that I'll need someone.
Okay.
If we get done in time that I can be there by 7, I will gladly
Okay,
call you
yeah.
and say, hey, I can get there. But I
Right,
will
March
take
9th.
minutes, but it's highly doubtful that I'm gonna be there.
At 7 o'clock.
It's a 2-day auction.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Anything else? Town planner.
All right, so Vanish submitted their permit for the county, we approved it.
Advantage Brewery.
The brewery.
Oh, it's that brewery.
Yeah.
I didn't know the name
No
of it.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the brewery.
They submitted a permit?
Yeah, for their renovation. Duncan submitted their permit and the county reached out to me for our approval, which it was approved. So it seems like things are rolling there. Ace was approved and we're just waiting on the soil conservation to sign off on it, but they did submit their sewer and water, application. And then we did move the planning commission from tomorrow to Wednesday. And the only thing that we're gonna talk about is 50 St. Paul Street, their subdivision. We're going to have the engineer and owner there, and then we're inviting the neighbors to come talk. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, they want to put 5 lots up there.
How many acres?
I think 10,
Oh,
maybe more.
They
think
want
it's 10
water
now.
and sewer too?
they have to. They're in the town limits.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Is that a joke? Yeah, it is.
I didn't know that either.
It's a weird cutout there, because right on the other side, it's not.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were in. Anybody have any questions for Terry? I mean, Tony?
Anything new with the, whatchamacallit, the excavator boys and all that? Anybody else pull out or?
I got something on that.
Yeah, I'll let him talk.
So-
Oh, God.
No, it's nothing bad. The attorney got back with a draft, letter, notice of default.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So, the way this works is, we would send them a notarized or a certified letter, a notice of default. Per their public works agreement, they would have 20 days to notify us how they were gonna cure the default. And then they would have 60 days, not on top of the 20, part of the 20, to cure the default. If they hadn't completed all the improvements that are included in the public works agreement at the end of 60 days, we would be able to contact the insurance bond firm and begin drawing on that bond. There's two different scenarios there. Sometimes the bonding agency will allow the agency pulling the bond to become the project manager, but more often than not, the insurance company will assign a project manager and complete the work.
That'd be nice.
Option 2 is good.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
It is, it is.
But how does that impact?
Well, I think it would probably bring Duncan faster.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Because Duncan can't go in until the road is installed.
Yeah, that's what they're waiting on.
So,
I think us as a town, that's a responsible thing to do.
yeah, that's why I said we need to stop this. And so what are we doing? Send a letter?
Yeah, so we're just, I think Riley was gonna put together, or was it Greg was gonna get us the rest of the improvements that haven't been done yet?
Yeah, I saw your email. I was gonna contact Greg and maybe go out there Thursday.
Okay.
See on our checklist what we need to do.
We need to itemize exactly what they haven't completed yet, and then also what lacks proper quality workmanship. There's a lot.
I know. So, we're gonna
So,
be able to get this moving forward in the next 5, 6, 7 days.
yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys wanna approve it.
I mean, I'm in favor. You want a motion?
Well, shouldn't we maybe look at them? Or, I don't know, or
What's not, the letter hasn't been drafted yet.
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's pretty basic. It's just your typical notice of default, stipulating, the default, section in the public works agreement and that,
do we want to ask the people holding the bond whether they, like, if we would do this today?
no,
know
you
what I
can't,
mean?
you
But
can't do
ask
that.
that
You
now.
can't do
I
that.
don't think we can
So
start.
how would we handle this
I mean,
if
that's
we
what I
end up
do
having
this,
to?
be the general manager, you know?
Well, that's, I mean, the other issue is that the cost estimate, the amount they had bonded, $540,000, that was 2021. And the cost estimate only had 5% contingency built in. So we're over that. I think what we do now is send this letter of default. Just because they don't complete the improvements in 60 days, that doesn't mean we have to. It doesn't trigger us
Right.
immediately having to start pulling from their bond. I definitely think it's the right move, because in the meantime, we can research exactly what this project is gonna take, and then the bonding, we can give the bonding agency to find out exactly how we're gonna be moving
Well,
forward.
that was my question, can you ask the bonding agent?
I know, and I answered you, so the issue is that if we reach out to the bonding agency before we send the letter of default,
They're gonna say,
They're gonna
we
say,
need that.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Once we send this out, they can-
Hear that.
yeah, okay, I'm sorry, that's what I
That's
said,
okay.
yeah. So once you send it out, then we can start the phone calls and the inquiries.
Yeah, I mean, we can't just say, hey, Mr. Bonding Agency, we're considering doing this.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, what? Our
The
clients
stars
are
line
what?
up. And this is also a wake-up call.
Well, no, I'm the one that's been pushing. I'll make the motion that we send this letter of default.
And I'll second it.
Motion and a second to send the letter of default. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all.
Well, I have one question.
Okay.
Does that have to be an advertised agenda item? You know what I mean, like, because of the Public Meetings Open Act, like, if it's not on the agenda.
So are you saying, do we need to wait until,
be. put
The
it on
regular-
agenda for the
So it
March
needs to be on the
meeting.
agenda for the regular mayor and council meeting so that we've had it.
My only question.
Okay, I don't know if that's a.
And since it's kind of a big deal, I wouldn't want to get called out on. a
So
small
notify that we're gonna
technicality.
take a vote on whether to send this letter.
Say that again.
Notification that we are gonna consider sending this letter out.
No, that's, I mean, that's not necessary. That's
I'm not, I don't know the answer to the question. I mean, I don't know.
I do, we don't need to do it.
It's just a letter, letting them know that we could possibly be doing that.
Right, I mean, again, these aren't actions that are in
This is what I
stone, these
take.
are just actions that could happen.
If they wouldn't be so far behind, we wouldn't be considering this.
I mean, they're in default of
A lot of things.
an agreement that.
I
don't know
agree,
what
and I
we-
just think it probably should have been on the agenda so that it's out there, that people know it's happening.
Well, if we take the next step, then we have to put that on the agenda. We're gonna have to have it public, be advised of it, or at least make it public notice.
That's how I feel.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, I mean, it's just a motion in a second. It's like anything else you guys vote on.
Yeah, it could be set right too.
Yeah. Do we have a motion, a second, any other discussion? Hearing that, all in favor, say aye. Opposed,
Opposed.
abstained, motion carries 5-1.
Can we request that you email us a copy of the letter then, just so if we get called out or comments about it, we know exactly what it says?
You want this one?
You know, I just would like to have it in email so that we all know that the council get it.
Okay, anything else? Rolla?
No.
Thank you. Town managers report.
Well, that was my first update. The second update is the $5 million US Army Corps grant we received. So Trone was here, when was that, last week sometime? And while he was here, you know, we were talking about, thank you very much. And he said, yeah, that money will be coming in fiscal year '24. So that is a while from now. Eric and I have been looking much more in depth into this. There's 3 ways we're gonna get this money. The first is if the House passes a supplemental budget. We spoke with one of Trone's legislative aides. He does not believe the House will have a supplemental budget this year. The other is in the fiscal '24 earmarks, which is, when was that?
Well, it's still not gonna be till FY '24.
Yeah, so that's 24. And then, it sounds like the earliest I should say that we're gonna get this funding is in May 2024. The issue with that is that, this money flows through the US Army Corps' Section 219 program. And, that program entails the Army Corps coming in and, essentially taking over everything. They're gonna come in, do the project management, hire, procure contractors, which sounds great. That sounds amazing. That's what we want. Unfortunately, they can't begin those steps until that funding has been allocated. So, we're expecting design to be completed in the middle of the summer. We're looking at ways of not having to put this project on hiatus. There's other programs the U.S. Army Corps administers that we're looking at the possibility of using to keep the project moving forward. We do, and it was allocated, and the EPA has the money, and I am going through the grant process now, is the $1 million we were awarded through Van Hollen's office. That money, the EPA has it. We're back and forth on the application process and developing a grant agreement. But they would rather we work through the U.S. Army Corps, since they have the lion's share of the money. So it's all kind of being lumped together. The last I spoke with our contact at the U.S. Army Corps, it sounds like he was gonna run it up the chain one last time to see if there's any way we can keep this project moving forward. If it's worst case scenario, it'll be, this time next year that we'll be talking about, procurement and construction. So, which presents its own issues. Eric and I were just talking about, particularly when it comes to cash flow. Because, we have to have spent or encumbered all of our rescue plan funds by 2024, the end of 2024. But having to wait that long is really going to complicate things. We're not, we don't know how much we need to hold back and, and also how much more this project is going to cost when that time comes around. Who knows? So,
Well, by the end of 24, you mean September of 24?
I was gonna say, it's at the end of the government's.
That's the end of the
fiscal year,
fiscal
year.
at the end of the calendar year.
no, it's just end of December 2024 to spend ARPA.
That is what it
It is.
is. That's all. I thought that would be on F1 boundary.
No, it's the end of the calendar year, 2024.
Well, at any rate, given that point, we may be between May of 24 and December of 24, but all this has to be obligated.
Right.
So, and we did ask on the phone that day, is there any way we can get half the money this fiscal year and give us the rest? And that was kind of a no-go also.
Yeah, we tried to spin this one 8 different ways, and we're still trying. I mean, I don't want to take my foot off the gas. We've worked so hard. This project's been, in development for 2 years, like 2 years now. So it sucks. The National Defense Act, which was what our funding was included in, didn't pass till the very end of the year and wasn't included in the budget. And now the House is pretty fractured and they don't expect a supplemental budget to happen this year, which was the best case scenario. So that doesn't look like it's going to happen. We do have the $1 million from the county, the $1 million from the state, and the $1 million from the EPA, and $500,000 from ARC, and another $100,000 from Rural Maryland Economic Development Fund. We're trying to work out a way where, Peter to pay Paul and get the Army Corps working on this project right clean with the handoff of design. So we'll do what we can, but we should probably plan for the worst in this situation. It'll probably be around this time next year. But, it will give us plenty of time to get all our ducks in a row and have everything absolutely ready to go. The other bright spot is we have 8.6 million. The project, when it was we got the last cost estimate, the project was estimated at 6.5 with a possible topping out at 8. So we have some contingency built in.
And that other $1 million is not in our hands, that one that you talked about.
You mean, is it in like our account? No, it's a reimbursement-based grant through the EPA.
Okay.
And so we are still in the application process with that. But that money, unlike this money, has been allocated. It is with the EPA. They have the money. They're ready to administer.
And that's just matching funds, I guess.
It's not matching. It's not matching $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was, it doesn't matter, we're gonna spend that plus.
Right.
So, okay.
Well, it does matter if it's matching.
Well,
Yeah. But, it is what it is, guys. I'm sorry. I don't like, it's not ideal. It's a struggle.
That's excellent recap, Paul. I mean, the day Trent was here, when he said that when it'll be available in 24, Paul and I both kind of looked at each other at the same time. I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how anybody plans to get anything done.
exactly.
We got.
So give us that black bag.
Well, you should have to give at least half of
Yeah,
that.
everyone have that one.
Unfortunately, that's how the federal government works.
The other half, we got money.
It was very strange when Paul and I read through this stuff in this appropriation. I've never seen anything like this. It was in the Defense Authorization Act, or FY 23, which was passed in the omnibus. It's there, specifically mentions us, but the way the court works, they sort of stack things up for 2 years. So even though we're specifically mentioned in 23, we don't get the money for 24. Very odd. Can't do anything about it.
What else you got?
That's it.
That's it? Yard debris site is open 8 to 12 on March the 18th and starting, April 1st. Good day to start, April Fools. It will be open for the season on Saturdays. Anybody else have anything to bring up? Hearing none, do I have a
Are they
motion?
collecting bags of leaves and stuff
Yeah.
right now?
No, not
I
until,
saw somebody had them out today. and I wondered-
people still put them out.
Yeah. Once they
When
put
does
those salt
It,
spreaders on
it's,
the trucks,
yeah, they don't start picking it up until they open the yard debris site back up.
they
Because I looked for that on the website then too, and I didn't see that.
Wasn't that as a rule that as soon as they put the salt
Flowers
fillers and
and
stuff?
Yeah.
Salt spreaders on, they
Yeah.
pick it up.
What about Thanksgiving?
So bags of leaves,
Oh,
same
actually,
day
they
yard
did
debris.
longer than that. They did it up
Is that right?
to.
Yeah.
It's that
December.
Monday.
So
December
March,
last
that's
year,
April.
Until we had that first
April 1st?
ice one.
It's the 3rd, April 3rd.
April 3rd. is the month.
Yeah, they picked them up a lot longer this year.
I guess to get back on the regular schedule at the
Yeah.
yard site being open. I forget what the regular schedule is through the week.
On Mondays.
Is that all it's open?
Oh, at the precinct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only open on Saturdays, but they pick it up on Mondays.
Right, yeah, I know.
It's only open on Saturdays. Until we put a camera down there to find people that used to bring in everything but what they were supposed to bring in and dump it.
So is
That's why
mayor and
that's why I
council,
start locking.
is our next workshop then gonna be the 28th instead of the 27th?
You mean in
For what?
March?
that we're not having?
No, it's in April.
Okay, so then April, Easter Monday is our next mayor and council.
Sweet. So
The
then
10th.
we'll have candy.
I believe it is.
No? But are you all open Easter Monday? Okay.
Yeah, they're closed Friday.
Okay.
Tony, can you wear your Easter bunny suit?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you. I'll have it in my ear. Tony Cottontail.
And the MMO in March,
Is in Sharpsburg.
is that Sharpsburg?
Yeah,
So
Sharpsburg.
that'll be.
Yeah.
Not sure where they're having it.
That's cute.
Sharpsburg, probably is one of the church.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to Sharpsburg.
Sharpsburg used to have it either at church or at the Ag Center.
Oh.
we did
That's
go
right.
to
Oh,
the
we
Ag
did go to the
Center.
Ag Center.
I don't know, have you seen where they're having it? Yeah. So, one time they had that church there where the new school was built, and they have a big auditorium in there. And they had.
Oh, off the Sharpsburg Pike.
No,
Oh.
there where the new elementary school is. That church, yeah, there's a church back there.
Oh, where the news.
New
Okay.
elementary school is. They read it at the church and had it in there, and they had vendors cater it with crab cakes.
Ooh.
That's the last time they had it in Sharpsburg, back in many years. Depends on where Russ is gonna have it. It's up to Russ. Got any motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Don't sound so excited. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second
There
it.
you go. Mary Lee beat you, Ray.
Have a motion and a
Yeah,
second.
but she didn't sound depressed.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Those the same, abstain, motion carries. Have a good evening. Stay dry.